Hello, I am Leonard,
And I'm Gerald.
And I'm Tabun.
and we are from Team Enginger. From the project that we have been allocated, we are appointed as a General Manager of the Sao Evora Petroleum Company, the SEPC. We are involved in a joint venture with the government of South Evora, Sao Joao Petroleum Company, and our main objective is to extract crude oil. The expected hydrocarbon reserve is estimated to be about 1,200 million barrels of oil equivalent. However, we are limited by several constraints like large reefs and rare sea life in the vicinity. Floating production, storage, and offloading (FPSO) is proposed to be used, where oil will be transferred to tankers and shipped out.
As stated before, the area is listed on the UNESCO heritage, where there are large reefs with extensive and rare sea life. And because of such constraints, it is difficult to use pipelines to transport hydrocarbons from the production location to the refineries. For workplace safety, we need to ensure the processes include safety precautions and protocols to prevent injuries to employees. And to establish relationship with the involved parties, we are going to provide job opportunities and aid the economical growth of Sao Evora and Sao Joa. And of course, for the extraction of crude oil, we will come up with a feasible and efficient process, and at the same time look into extraction of natural gases. Last but not least, we want to meet the needs of supply and demand.
We've identified a number of risks that are involved in the process of extracting crude oil. One of the risks is political reasoning, where the oil and gas fields are located in the territorial waters between Sao Evora and Sao Joan. This gives rise to disputes about the actual borders and consequently the rights on the reserves. Another risk would be vessel and equipment downtime, where machines are bound to fail. This failure could be due to cyclic loading across a span of a few years. Therefore, preventive maintenance is necessary. Some parts where we will require maintenance are the engines, pipes, and etc. Environment pollution is also a probable risk. In the last 50 years, more than 700 tons of oil have been spilled into the oceans. Being a reputable organization in the industry, Charlie Company has to uphold their values by being role models in protecting the environment. Safety is also an important factor, where we want to prevent employees from sustaining any work-related injuries. Injuries could be due to negligence, lack of standard procedures, or inadequate training. Lastly, oil price fluctuations depend on the supply and demand of the market. In the last 5 years, the lowest drop recorded was at $29 per barrel. This will result in reduced profits or even a revenue loss.
Now, we will talk about the probability of the risks that we have identified. Political reasoning is an ever-present issue worldwide. This can be seen as there are already ongoing disputes between the islands about the actual border. Therefore, it has a high probability of affecting our process. Oil price fluctuations, as said before, depends on the market. The market is very dynamic, where it is unpredictable. The prices may drop at any point of time, which happens relatively often. In the process of oil and gas extraction, leaks in pipes, emission of exhaust, and even waste is produced and dumped into the ocean. This is something that is unavoidable, as emissions and waste products are often formed during operations. The probability of safety breaches are somewhat controllable to a certain extent. Hence, this can be mitigated if precautions are taken. As said before, mechanical failure is bound to happen, especially when the vessels are running 24/7, 365 days a year. As the area is within a tropical climate with only one rainy season, it is highly unlikely that extreme weather conditions will occur. Lastly, in a developing country, there is a limit to the number of skilled workers that are able to contribute to our operations. However, this can be improved by providing relevant training and facilities to the locals.
So now we'll move on to the severity of the risk. In terms of political reasoning, an agreement or joint venture can fall apart very easily. In our case, bribery amongst higher ranking officials may occur. And if such cases were to happen, this would put a stop on our operations. In a worst case scenario, the contract or agreement may be terminated. Oil price fluctuations may not be a major concern. as Charlie Company can hold on to the commodities at times of lower oil prices. Environmental pollution is a major concern, which is governed by the International Maritime Organization (IMO) and other environmental bodies. However, it would not affect our operations if we abide by the regulations, such as the IMO 2020 sulfur emission cap. Safety, as stated before, could be due to incompetency or negligence. Furthermore, human error is hard to avoid, and this may result in catastrophic consequences. For example, the Deepwater Horizon incident in 2010, which caused the loss of several lives due to human error and equipment faults. Vessel and equipment downtime can impact our operations, where it will mean a temporary halt to our production, and if the maintenance requires a longer amount of time, the cost incurred may be substantial. Extreme weather conditions are considered to be insignificant. As stated above, there is only one rainy season in the tropical climate. However, it may still affect our operations. The lack of manpower is a minor issue where staff can be trained with time and proper resources. Moreover, manpower can also be outsourced if required.
So this is the risk matrix that we have tabulated. Each number on the table represents the risk that we have just discussed about. On the matrix, we can see that political reasoning, safety, vessel and equipment downtime have high risk. Oil price fluctuations and environmental pollution have medium risk, while lack of manpower, skilled staff and extreme weather conditions have low risk.
With the 4T approach, we respond to the risk assessed differently. For political reasoning, if need be, we have decided to transfer the risk to the United Nations Law of the Sea procedures. We will tolerate the risk of oil price fluctuations, as it is an uncontrollable variable, despite the possible loss of opportunity costs. Apart from tolerating the risk, we can also use the treat approach by venturing into natural gases. Environmental pollution can be treated easily, with precautions and systems in place to treat the waste and emissions. Therefore, it is a controllable and treatable factor. Safety can also be treated by other means of regular refreshment courses for the employees. These refreshment courses would focus on the safety aspects when on board ships and production processes. Downtime, however, has to be tolerated. A major survey is required every 5 years to improve and meet the regulation standards, but unnecessary downtime can be reduced with routine maintenance.
The key maritime processes that we've identified starts with survey and explorations, drilling and development of oil wells, installation of subsea and manifold systems, oil and gas production and processing with FPSO or FSRU, offloading to tankers, and transportation with tankers to refineries. These processes are all taken into consideration in our organizational structure.
Our organizational structure is branched out to three main departments. For the first department, consisting of the research exploration team. Under exploration, we have the surveying and subsurface exploration experts, where we can hire locals with vast knowledge and familiarity with the area. Under the research team, we have the reservoir engineering team who are in charge of anticipating faults regarding the wells, such as leaks. In this phase of planning, the team will make full use of oil spill modeling trajectory to determine the flow of oil. We are then able to find the area that the spill will be affecting, and this is an important factor as South Evora and South Johor has been taking steps to develop their tourist industry, which might be affected by pollution within the area. The team also handles the maintenance of the well. The next department will be the production and transportation team. Under production, we have the team in charge of general operations, mainly extracting the crude oil and running the process. For well monitoring, they will be consistently monitoring the well in case of wearing of well bore or blowouts. The safety and environment team ensures that the operations are running safely, abiding to the environmental laws. We have a fleet of FPSO tankers and floating storage regasification units (FSRU) for the processing of natural gases extracted from the reservoir. We also have the subcontracting team in charge of the outsourcing of labor. The finance department comprises of accounting, purchasing, tariff and compliance functions. And lastly, the administrative department accounts for training, human resources, public relations, and logistics. Training department also focus on providing locals with necessary skills required for this field of work.
There are several processes that require outsourcing of labor. Firstly, we need to outsource locals who are familiar with the vicinity. These locals will be required to assist in the installation of subsea systems such as subsea trees, subsea structures, intervention and walkover systems, umbilicals, and subsea manifolds, etc. We will also be required to outsource tankers and floating regasification units. This vessel will be time chartered, where ship crew will be provided. Costs incurred by us being charterers are mainly fuel costs, port disbursement, repairs and maintenance, daily running expenses.
So here are references. We hope that you liked our video. Thank you.